But looking at it as well, the Andoni Raola guy, the Bournemouth coach, is very good as well. Good evening, everyone. This is Taiwo Nojobi once again, your host on Lanonasis Maple Sports. We're always excited to bring you, Canadian sports, Premier League, the CBL, the NBA, and, every other sport that you think that, forms within our Maple stratosphere. We always make sure we bring you hot takes and some deep analysis, around it. Today we'll be dealing strictly with the Premier League, and I have my friend here with me, Emmanuel. Hopefully, Joshua is able to join us so far, but he's a bit under the weather, and it's quite cold here in North America generally. However, thank you very much for joining us. We also, get a lot of people giving us feedback, telling us how much they listen to us and they like the way we approach the game. Yeah, we just want to say thank you. This is beginning of the year. We can't get tired of saying thank you to everyone for joining us, giving us that energy, making it count every day. And we promise that we'll continue to, give you guys premium sports analysis, every step of the way. So that being said, I just like to always say this, try something new. You never can tell. It can make a difference. Take a risk, you never can tell. Just, make sure that it's a blend of taking risk and, trying something new. Emmanuel, we just want to give us some 2 cents before we go ahead and start our analysis today. Let's take it from there.
Yeah, thank you very much, Taiwo, and thanks to our audience for always being there, our fans always being there to watch and support our podcast. And he's really happy to be here. It's been a beautiful weekend of football, and so looking forward to and all the things happening around the football world lately, So looking forward to dissecting them as much as possible, in the next hour. So I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you, Manuel, for giving us that. We don't take that for granted at any point. A couple of news have happened over the week, and the good thing is we always get the opportunity to pick up on a lot of things happening then. Before the end of the week, we just get the opportunity to give our own views, our takes, and some of the reasons why things are happening around the world. The first news is Manchester United went to the extreme with Ruben Amorim. It was, for me, I call it a structural breakdown. It was, we're looking at a couple of events, sequence of events that have been happening from finishing 15th last season. And, the way they've been having a bit of what I call Higgy Haga movement across the league. First of all, there was reports of a breakdown relationship with Omar Barada and Jason Wilcox. Those are the key guys that take major decisions within Manchester United. Then we also heard that there was some tactical disagreements. They didn't agree with his approach to the game. To me, I don't think there's anything wrong in the owners of the team giving you feedback. They didn't come to fight you, but they're just giving you feedback, trying to see how you can improve on one or two things. And looking at the inconsistency that's been happening, looking at that back three, especially the back three formation, they were not happy with the way it was going. And from there, you just went on media, some people just felt that, especially some of the top analysts that I've listened to, they felt that there was lack of evolution. He was not ready to take feedback and he was not willing to change. So, and if you're not willing to accept feedback, automatically, for a team of this size, Manchester United, results are not coming, things are going to come your way, and I heard that there was a reported emotional blow up in that meeting, even though it was unverified, and it just blew up. And for me, I don't like a situation where people are a bit more emotional about how Amorim was sacked, but I just like to look at the numbers just to give us an idea of what next in the direction. If you look at the performance metrics, they've had the worst league finish since 1974 by finishing 15th last season. That was the worst. Number two, they had the worst win ratio of any United manager ever, of about 31.9%.
Yep.
You understand? How long are we going to continue to keep these numbers? He failed to qualify for Europe for the first time since 2014-2015 season. So automatically, there are a lot of financial implications going on because a lot of people they don't look at the emotional part. United have paid £55 million plus in managerial compensation since 2012. You understand? Look at some of these numbers. They paid about 9.25 million in pounds to hire Amorim, and they will now pay out. In fact, Amorim is going on with over 22 million, even
Man,
though they sacked him. You know, there's a way they lay you off, but you are excited to walk away.
tell you,
He's going
man.
to be going with over 22 million euros because he was laid off.
It's
You
crazy.
understand? So for me, the strategic takeaway is there's still a major problem when it comes to finding the best manager for a team like Man U. And it looks like a lot of teams are becoming impatient, you know.
Yeah.
They were trying to look at the long-term vision. If not because of that bust, they were willing to stay with Amorim, truth be told. They were
Yeah.
willing to just, steer that ship and go with him with that method. But the thing now is you can't have a manager that is not willing to take feedback.
Yeah.
You understand? Trying to go through another chapter and stuff. But so that it's not like as if I'm the only one. What do you think generally? Just give me your view.
Man, I mean, Ruben Amorim, when he came to Manchester, he came with a lot of promise, right? Young manager, who's won titles with Sporting CP in Portugal, so he was coming with a lot of good some good pedigree, coming to England. But of course, I knew it was going to be tough, right? I mean, we have people coming from Portugal coming to England to come and play, and they know how difficult it is. Gyökeres is still struggling to hit the ground running in Arsenal. The same thing with Darwin Núñez of Liverpool, when he came, right? So it's not. I mean, some players have come from Portugal and done well in England, but most times it's a 50-50 thing, right? So it should be the same for the coach as well. So I'm not quite surprised that he's struggling. The surprise I had really is him not being able to adapt his style to the players that he has on board for now. Because normally when a manager goes to a new club, you have a vision for the club, right? But of course, the players you meet on ground may not be able to achieve that vision. So what do? You adapt your style to the players so that they can, when it gets to a point when you now have the players that you want, you can start playing what the style that you want to play. I mean, Pep did it when he first came to Man City. I don't think he won anything in his first season at Man City, right? He had to use the players that he had at the time, and then they kept on building. I did that deep team at Arsenal as well. The first 2-3 seasons at Arsenal, fans were complaining, we're not playing the beautiful football, but we were getting by. I think we went 8th, 5th, and then we then came second, second again. So 8th, 5th, second, right? So as a new manager in the club, you expect the manager to be able to adapt his style to fit the players. But then I spoke to a Manchester United fan last year who said to me that they're happy with what Amorim is doing. That all the managers who have come and were sacked or left, that they were not able to to get the best out of the players, and because they are trying to adapt their style to the players that were available. So Amorim's style coming right now, insist on his playing style of 3 at the back, was sort of helpful. That's what the fan wanted to see. But the point is, like you said, you can't work in a place like Manchester and not take feedback, right?
Yeah.
And then, I mean, look at all the stats that you read out just now. There's nothing good about these stats. 15th place, Manchester United. Manchester United is one of the best clubs in England. I mean, even one of the best clubs in the world, based on current standing and all they've achieved, right? So it's quite sad to see a club like Manchester United, achieving what they're achieving. Very, very poor. And then to put all of that together, and then you go to the media on an interview, and then you say the things that he said, basically calling out all the board, sporting directors, and everybody must do their job. He's there for 18 months. I'm like, is that the right thing to say? Even if you want to call them out, you can say we need to strengthen those sort of things, but not saying everybody has to do their job. I'm here for 18 months, after that we can impact it. It's like, I knew he was upset, to be fair. I mean, to be fair, quite upset. And and sometimes, being a manager in England takes some form of tact, knowing how to handle the media. You must answer every question. Right? And it comes with experience, right? So when I heard that interview that he did, I was like, is this what he should have said, right? Of course, I'm not a manager. I've not managed before, right? So I don't know. I felt he should have been a bit more careful with his words, right? Yeah. Maybe he was fed up and just wanted to go. That's what some of the pundits are saying, that maybe he was just fed up, and that if he says that, they're gonna ask him to leave, and maybe he just did that so he could leave. Then, like you said, right, Taiwo, man, imagine losing a job and you're getting over 20 million.
Over 22 million, yeah.
You don't need to work for the next 20 years. Let's think about it. If you spend £1 million a year You don't need to work anymore for at least for the next 20 years.
20 years, that's true.
It's time to invest £20 million and just be living up the income for the rest of your life. That's a lot of money. So, and that's what Manchester United have been doing for the past since Fergie left. They've not stopped the manager without paying the manager off. I even thought I was saying to my wife, well, at least £5 million. I wasn't sure the numbers. I said at least £5 million, but I think £20 million, man.
It's over 22.
I mean, I should be start.
So I get that about 27 if we check the numbers again. It's close to about 27.
Exactly. So imagine sacking somebody and paying the person that kind of money. Who would not want to be sacked, especially in a club like Manchester with the way they are playing currently. So exactly. I don't want to believe that he did it purposely, that it was the deliberate action by him to get sacked. But it just shows you the when I look at Manchester United, looking at all the managers that have worked there recently, from Mourinho to Solskjaer to to what's the other guy's name, the Dutch manager, the one that's can't remember his name right now. They've sacked a lot.
I'll remember his name before we.
Louis van Gaal.
Okay, Louis van Gaal. Louis van Gaal.
Yeah. So they've sacked a lot of managers, and you'd be like, why can't they just stick to one, right? Now, and the rumors again too was that they didn't. Amorim was already fed up with his way of playing. He wasn't taking feedback, so that interview was just like the excuse to get him to go.
Wow.
See, that was what I heard some pundits say, that it's looking like the board had already taken decision that meant that they're not improving. Mm-hmm. They're not winning games consistently. They've not won 3 to 4 games back to back since he came, right? So they've trusted him. They brought some players. They brought some players in. You brought Šeško, you brought Cunha, you brought Mbeumo. You had players too who were there. Bruno has been the backbone of that team, and he's still a fantastic player. I'll have him in Arsenal anytime he
met Bruno there. He didn't buy Bruno now. Bruno was there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you see some players in there. So players who I feel that if you can just adapt the style a bit, Manchester United is a big club. They have a history, they have a culture, they have a way of doing things. And so if you're going to that kind of club, you need to know what you're in for. And one of the things he said in the interview, he said that he was the manager, not the head coach. and again, I'm not privy to see what his contract said when he joined the club. I don't know discussions he had with the hierarchy when he joined the club, but it'd be interesting to see, if he said head coach or manager. But some pundits are saying he was head coach. So you knew what you were going into when you accepted the role. You signed those dotted lines and said you were going to be head coach of Manchester United. Coming after a year to say you were manager, not head coach. That again, I feel that again is sackable. Imagine you going to your place of work and saying to them, "I'm not a manager, I'm a partner." that sort of thing, right? So I mean, also you're just calling out the club, calling out the ownership of the club, saying to them, it just doesn't sound right. And I feel bad that that he's gone, because it seemed like for him he was building something. Maybe he had more time to see it grow, to see the fruits of his labor. Unfortunately, we're not going to see that anymore. So right now, Manchester United is at the point where they've sacked him and they're looking for a replacement. And I hear it's going to be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's coming back again on an interim basis, though.
I heard that Darren Fletcher was going to be interim coach for a while.
No, just for the time being. So there's still. I heard that Solskjaer is the one that is likely to get it, at least up until the end of the season, up until the summer.
Oh.
Yeah, when they then.
Those guys are trying to imagine many of football. As far as money is involved, you can't say no. If your former employer comes to you and says they want to double what you are earning, you will go back to them now.
Yeah.
It's just that it's not too common in North America for you to have sports team have a coach, sack the coach, and go back and bring that same coach.
Yeah, it all depends, right? I mean, it all depends on how the sacking happened, right? For example,
exactly. I don't think there's any sacking that has happened well, ever.
Exactly. When Ole left,
it's only Mourinho, only maybe when Jose Mourinho left and came back. A lot of people were surprised, but most of the time, sacking doesn't always go well because one party was not really happy, or you know how it works now in this North America.
About sacking. The way we heard the news that he was sacked may not be how it happened. Sometimes we don't have.
Okay, it's true. Sometimes they may even have good conversations, but they walk away with good money too.
It may just be the conversation like, sorry, it's not working anymore for now, man. Maybe in the future we can still work together, but for now we don't want to get a different direction. And in the future we will say, okay, we need you to come and do what you did before to an extent, To an extent,
till when we get a replacement.
Exactly. You and I may never know the true story of how. It's just like when Arsene Wenger left Arsenal.
Yeah.
The news then was that he left on his own. But
Yeah.
some other people were saying that he was sacked. So till now, I don't know how he left. Right? I don't know if he was sacked or he left on his own terms. But because he announced his exit before the season ended, and it was at the end of the season. So those are
That's
things
true.
we don't know all the full story. So that's why when they go like this, it's just of course time will tell, right? We'll probably have
Yeah.
an idea, but I don't think we'll ever get to hear the
To know
full
the
how
full story of how it worked
how
out.
it left. Yeah,
Mm. Okay, but that's a good one. So right now, because they have Darren Fletcher as the interim coach, and
yeah,
they're looking at a couple of other guys that will take over as the practical situation is the situation that is presently happening with Crystal Palace.
mm,
The coach has not been able to agree an extension yet, and they're looking at okay for the Crystal Palace coach. If for some reason they are not able to agree, then he can come in because he's the only practical person that I see that can really take over to replace Amorim, and
mm,
that's the Oliver Glasner guy. But looking at it as well, the Andoni Raola guy, the Bournemouth coach, is very good as well.
yeah,
They're looking at if they can use money to, try and just convince him to come. Me, I don't think Unai Emery will want to leave Aston Villa. Because of how he struggled when he also played when he was coaching us now.
mm,
So a lot of people are looking at, they don't really want Unai Emery to come because of the fact that they feel that, he still feels like he has to go back and revenge or, play some kind of football anytime he's playing against Arsenal again. So they probably don't want that. Eddie Howe as well, the Newcastle guy, is also a good project that they're looking
yeah,
at. That okay, if we can give him the right motivation, maybe he can come as well.
mm,
So those are some of the things they are looking at. But I don't want to go into other continental guys,
yeah,
internal United options because presently Darren Fletcher is the interim coach. If they see that he's performing, they're also looking at Michael Carrick,
yeah.
who was sacked by Middlesbrough recently as well.
So he was sacked from
He was
Middlesbrough.
sacked by Middlesbrough. He was recently sacked by Middlesbrough. So they're also looking at if he can come in. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer too is a fan favorite, just like you said. And but people are still, emotionally thinking of how he left that first time.
Mm,
But one thing is, old players are still connected, and they are still always willing to work with the club, and
of
that's
course.
why I like those old guys coming back. You
Yeah,
understand? Just like in Barca, when you have Xavi coming back, even though Xavi was asked to go, but those guys are still always around, either as technical advisor
yeah,
or special advisor for the club. They just still hang around. They
yeah,
still have this love for the club. Some of them even come back as ambassadors
yep.
as well. Just like how Ronaldinho till today is still an ambassador for Barcelona.
Mm,
So some of those things still exist. So looking at the first match of today, Manchester United, they went with a draw immediately after the coach was sacked. It was a very tight and balanced game. And, we're thinking Leeds is a very decent side. And Man U went in with more possession. Presently, one of their main major guy is injured. So they still had to go on, playing without him. And from what I'm seeing, Man U was able to do about 54.6% compared to Leeds that had 45.4% on possession.
yeah,
They had more attempts, about 15 attempts on goal, 2 on target, and they ended up drawing this match. But looking at the strategic flow of the match, and for me, the tactical aspect was they came now with a 4-2-3-1 shape, very aggressive counter pressing. So it looks like even those players are beginning to see that former style is not working because 4-2-3-1, that shape is more or less like what the under 18 plays today, as of today. You understand? So
yeah.
I was able to see it. They kept a bit of a very, very defensive discipline, and that's what helped them to keep it. But tell me what you think about this win generally with
I mean,
Kuman's performance.
yeah, it was another. I wouldn't say it was. The piece I watched, it was a bit exciting to watch. To be honest, Manchester United will always give you some. It's
Good football.
good football sometimes. I
Mhm.
mean, especially with players that they have now. I know Bruno was missing in that game; he didn't play. But I think it was still a good watch because I mean, Shesko is gradually coming back to his gradually get hit in form. And he scored 2 goals
Yeah,
yesterday.
with some of the guys that have gone for African Cup of
AFCON,
Nations,
yeah.
he's
So
getting
so
opportunities.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's getting more game time and he's hitting form gradually. But then
yeah,
again, Leeds has been really impressive these days, right? Manchester United against Leeds and that's like these are matches that are in the same area of England, right? So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's sort of a local derby, and they
yeah,
will
yeah,
become rivals. Let me put that
yeah, yeah. That's true.
right. So
Yeah,
whenever those two play, it's always a very tough game. If whenever Leeds plays any of the Manchester,
yeah.
teams,
Manchester teams. Yeah,
especially Man United, because they have a longer history together, right? So it's always a very
yeah.
challenging game. To see Leeds, score the first goal in that game was quite interesting. And looking at the stats too, I think it was let me see, 15 shots of
Yeah, they had 15
Leeds
against
had 10
11 for
shots
Leeds.
and three on target. So
Yeah,
basically even themselves out. But then it shows you how far Leeds have come, and
yeah,
also shows you how not so great Manchester United is. I know, yeah, they're missing key players to AFCON. Bremo and Amad Diallo are gone for AFCON. Shows you how far how I don't want to say poor, right? Manchester
yeah.
United, but it shows that they still have a lot to do. This Amorim's tactics of three at the back. I don't want to say, I don't know if that's the reason why they're not doing so well, but of course, anybody says because that's not what they used to play. Manchester United has been known to be playing four at the back. Or, I mean, they are normal two central defenders and then two wing backs, right? So it's just a shame to see that teams like Leeds is giving them this kind of trouble. But Leeds, to be fair to them, have been pulling some strong weight this season.
I
Right?
think they are
Against Liverpool,
overperforming too.
performing against Liverpool,
Overperforming because I didn't expect them to. Because
exactly.
they are making life difficult for some teams. From what
Exactly.
I've been
Even
seeing, they are
yesterday,
really trying.
Newcastle won them by Sherlock, as far as I'm
Mm.
concerned.
Yeah,
They went on top first. Newcastle equalized. They went again. Newcastle equalized again, and then Newcastle now edged them by scoring two late goals. So it's good to see Leeds coming up and pulling and causing problems for the team. I hope they stay up. It looks like they're going to stay up, right?
yeah,
I
yeah.
hope they stay up. And then Manchester United. Now, for me, I'm looking at them. Okay, what next? Right?
Exactly.
What next? Who's going to come in and take the reins and try to improve the team as much as possible and see where they can end this season. I guess their shout to be top 4, top 5. It looks like
Yeah,
top 5 this season can get Champions League if you make if you're top 5. But I'm
yeah.
sure they will target together top 4, top 5. But let's see with the teams they're battling with. It looks like I don't know what's saying that most of the teams are around that top 5, top, and they're even ready to get top 4 because it looks like top 3 settled for Arsenal, City, and West Ham. That's top 3. Then
Yeah.
Liverpool, Chelsea, Manchester United, even Brentford is now number 5 on the table, right?
Wow.
So yeah, so even so, the other teams there are still fighting for that. So top 4, top 5 is still up for grabs,
Hope for
right?
grab.
So Manchester
Yeah.
United, I'm waiting to see where they end up this season. It should be trying to see with all the drama and new manager and everything coming up. It should be good to see where they end up.
Yeah. Also looking at the match they played yesterday, you will see that they still went with the same formation, which was the 4-2-3-1. So it looks like it's a Carrick. It's a Carrick movement. You understand? It's the one that Darren Fletcher movement. Yeah, Darren Fletcher movement because the 4-2-3-1 was the same one they played in the match against Leeds, and he was also able to help them get a draw against Burnley. Looking at the dimension, and your friend Benjamin Sesko scored the 2 goals.
Yeah.
So since when AFCON started, he's really been balling, man.
In fact, when I saw it, I was like, should I have bought Chesco instead of Gyökeres? But I don't know.
But everybody thought Gyökeres was going to come to Man U. There were times I thought that Gyökeres will come to Man U, but eventually he just went to Arsenal.
Yeah.
But I think so. The thing is, a lot of people. I was listening to some pundits talking about the fact that some of the former Arsenal players were supporting Gyökeres, saying that it's going to get to a time, especially when they go deep into the season, where Gyökeres will be very, very, very important for them. Because what has affected Arsenal in the past, because it looks like this is the season for them. I'll be so surprised if they miss out on the title this season.
Yeah.
But what has messed them up in the past is a lot of their good hands went injured at the wrong time of the season.
Yeah.
But the opposite is happening now because a lot of them are now coming back from injury.
Yep.
You understand? Like Jesus is coming back, and they didn't have to even play Eze for some matches. And Eze is a top player. A top player like Eze, you have to put him on the bench. So it means that they have some of the best, bench support that they've gotten over the years. I don't even think Wenger has this level of support during his time.
No. I mean, not after that. After that, 04, 05. From then when it started declining, he didn't have the sort of
this kind of support.
Wenger never had a wonderful bench like this. No, he didn't. Apart from the invincible shot. That's the
Okay.
principle. I don't think he had a good bench like this. Like this bench is, you look at this bench, most of them will get into first teams in
Of
most of
course, another
them.
teams now. And now.
Yeah.
So I think even based on the way the management team has supported the guys that are on board this time, pay
Yeah.
them good money just to be able to come in and try and see if they can fight for it. I like the way they put all their energy. You
Yeah.
understand, to make sure that Arteta got everything he needed and is able to put them in comfortable positions to succeed. I
Yeah.
really like that. So Liverpool, they are still finding a way to grind through. They started with playing against Fulham, which was 2-2. All these draws that have been happening are just favoring us now because all the big teams are just drawing. You know, understand? Now with the layoff that happened to Maresca in Chelsea, it puts Arsenal in a better position now because what now happens is they are the only club that has experienced stability.
Yeah.
They've
True.
not laid off any coach. They've not done anything. The coach has the backing of the board and key members of the team. Everything is just going smooth for
And
them.
Man City too has been stable. I mean, despite I know they have some issues on the pitch, but
Yeah,
the management has been fairly stable on the past. Apart from Arteta leaving 5-6 years ago, I think they've been fairly stable. Yeah.
Yeah. So another thing that is also going to be a big blow for Man City this season is injury to Gvardiol
Yeah.
and Diaz.
And yeah.
Gvardiol and Diaz are now presently injured, so it's going to be a big problem for them because those guys are pillars for them.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to that mid block that they always succeed in doing against teams. But right now they are both injured, and they are out for minimum 3 to 4 weeks.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the deal for Semenyo going to Man City, he still has to pass medical. So because Semenyo still played for Bournemouth.
Yes.
You understand? He still played for Bournemouth, so he still has to pass medical. It's after medical that they will now say, okay, you are good enough for the team. But right now, there's still a lot of moving parts, and Arsenal is very stable. It looks like they are, they are going for the goal, and they are prepared for it.
Yeah.
So for the Fulham match, we had Gakpo. Gakpo was able to help them pull last strings. Florian Wirtz also scored as well. And that was, those were the things that helped them. Fulham too is also pulling their muscle. There's a guy called Harrison Reed that scored in the 97th minute. That was the goal that spoiled the Liverpool party.
Right?
And the dramatic, it was a dramatic finish for me, in Graven Cottage. But looking at it well, Liverpool pulled some learnings at every point in time. They did about 58.1% on possession. Fulham did 41.9%. And Fulham had 8 attempts. Liverpool had 10. But both of them just had 2 on target, and those 2 resulted in goals. So you will see that both teams were really going at each other. But tactically, I still like the 4-2-3-1 structure. Very disciplined spacing for Fulham. And I like their transition movements, the way they are moving into the zone. And that's what also helped them to come in. But what do you think about Liverpool with Florian Wirtz? I'm happy for him because he's now beginning to get into the goal. Yeah.
He's gradually hitting form, right? Gradually hitting form because he scored a goal that game. I think he's had a couple of assists recently as well, right? And even the game against Arsenal today, he was causing a problem for the Arsenal defense. That's why the defenders being so good. Florian Wirtz was some problems for them as well. So it's good to see that this their former record signing before Isaac, is making this sort of, at least he's hitting form. I would say at the right time for them. I mean, I know they've not been good lately, but they've not lost any game. They've not lost in the last 10 games, right? They've either drawing or winning.
Yeah, they had more draws than wins.
But they've not lost any game in the last 10 games, so which is good for them. So it's good to see Florian Wirtz coming into form. And then one of the lessons from that game is that if you score a goal, even if it's close to the end of the game, don't take it for jersey. Like what? Exactly. The next 1 or 2 minutes, they'll go down the other end of the pitch. So Liverpool is gradually, I'll say they're gradually hitting. They've not been great, even when you watch them play, they're not great, right? So that's why I feel bad Arsenal didn't take advantage of their weaknesses today. But to be fair to them, they came with a strategy to play against Arsenal. They came to draw that game. They didn't come to win.
That's true.
Because the first half was just all Arsenal, all over them, right? But of course, Arsenal couldn't penetrate or couldn't break through, right? But then going back to the game against Fulham, I wasn't surprised to see them draw against Fulham, quite frankly. I was surprised. That's been their story lately, right? They've not been climbing at all on the table. They've not been punching, going high on the table. Yes, they're a bit more stable right now. It's just shocking to see that after winning the title, they didn't push on for. You ask yourself, what has changed in Liverpool? Which of the players did they lose? again, what's his name? Diego Jota, may so rest in peace. Yeah,
Yeah.
they lost him. They lost him.
But Diego Jota too he also had injury problems because he missed a good number of times, but he's still a solid guy for the team.
A solid guy. Whenever he comes in, he always had a way of scoring goals whenever he came from the bench. That was the thing, right? To come on like 3-4 times and score like 2 or 3 goals, right? So he was always the kind of person that you want to change the game, you bring him in. Just like they were doing with Firmino the time that he was Liverpool. So he was that kind of person that would come and change the game. That's why a fantastic player, good, lovely attitude. He never complained. Well, I don't know if he complained. I'm not a Liverpool fan. I don't know. Liverpool fans will let us know better. He was always there. Whenever you call him in, he's always coming here to impact the game. And he always did that positively. Most times he came. And then they lost the other guy. What's his name? The left winger. The one that went to
Alexander-Arnold.
No, not Trent. The one that went to Bayern Munich. What's his name now? Oh shit. Is it Colombian guy? Can't remember his name.
I'll probably remember before we
went to Liverpool. So and that was a very good player as well too. I mean, he scored a lot of goals for them last season. So, but then they brought in Isak, they brought in Ekitike. What else they bring in? They brought in Frimpong. They've brought in Ferran Wirtz. So they sort of strengthened. But then I still feel like their major issue is that defense, right? Konate has not been consistent this season. Same with Van Dijk as well. So they needed to have strengthened that defense. Hopefully they do that in January. If not, it's looking like Maguire is not going to go to another club the way it's going. I don't even know if Liverpool is in for him this January. So if they don't get the defender, I don't see them making that top 4 if they don't get the defender in. Because you need competition for Van Dijk and for Konate. They are not. It doesn't look like they are consistent this season, right? So, but then again, I don't take anything away from Fulham. Fulham they've been doing some good things this season as well, right? Against Man City, they almost got a draw in that game when I ended 5-4. And they have guys that can change game. I know what's his name? Samuel Chukwueze is now in AFCON. They have guys that can change game. Imagine that guy came in at the 90-something minute and was able to score that powerful goal. That kind of goal you scored that probably shoot it like 10 times. It goes in 2 times. Right? So I'm telling you, that's kind of good that he scored. Imagine that's probably one of the goals. That would probably mean contest for the goal of the season, right? So it's good to see Fulham, pushing on and not giving up. Not just, I know Liverpool has better players than Fulham, let's face it, but still fighting to get that draw and not lose the game was quite good to see. Again, Marco Silva is doing a good job at Fulham. They've been up and around that 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th position.
Yes, that's true.
They've been in the Premier League, and it looks like it's going to continue this year. I'm happy to see the competition that they have there.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you're looking at the expectation, I kind of had more expectation for Fulham. I was thinking with the way they played last season, they should be able to break into top 5. But sometimes you can wish, but later when you get on the pitch, it becomes something different. But let's just see and hope that they have that push. They didn't have much players going to AFCON, did they?
They have. I know Samuel Chukwueze went to AFCON.
Okay.
I don't know if
they also had this Nigerian guy now.
That's Chukwueze. That's Chukwueze. Yeah.
No, Fulham.
Yeah, that's Samuel Chukwueze.
No, not just Chukwueze. What's his name?
Okay, the defender, Bassi
as well.
Bassi,
yeah.
Bassi. That's even the more prominent guy.
Bassi also went.
And Iwobi. Alex Iwobi.
Yeah. It's just like Iwobi. A lot of people don't. Iwobi is not like what he was a few years ago, so that's why I don't really. But Bassi was a major one. Yeah. So they have like 3 players.
He went Nigeria versus Mozambique and see what Iwobi did in that game. I know. Ademola Lookman won man of the match, but quite frankly, should have been
Iwobi has stabilized the midfield for the first few matches we played.
He was pulling the strings, man.
He has stabilized it a bit.
You know the pass before the assist. That's what he was doing. That pass before the assist.
That pass before the assist. Yeah.
And that pass is very, very key. If you don't get it right, there won't be an assist.
Yeah, so that's why in hockey, they look at assist from the last 2 people that touched the ball before the person that scored.
Oh, really?
Those are the 2 people that assist count for in hockey.
Oh, wow, nice.
That's the difference because they want to appreciate the effort of the leading
of
to
everyone.
The goal.
Involved.
So the pass before the assist is also an assist in hockey.
You can imagine.
So that's like in hockey, they can say 2 people gave assist.
Are you serious?
Now, if you are doing analysis for hockey, you will say that they will say 2 people gave assist in an hockey game. You can imagine. Because 2 people that touched the ball before the person has scored, counts as an assist in hockey.
Oh wow,
So
nice,
that's the difference. Yeah.
nice. That's
And
good.
that's it. So this next match is much earlier in the week. Man U drew with Chelsea, even at a time when everybody thought that Chelsea was at their lowest. They had just told Maresca to go. Maresca had just been laid off that time, and they
Okay.
were going into that match more like they were already like the lower favorites.
Yep.
Nobody
They, they,
believed that they were going to be able to come up with the win.
they were the
But
underdogs.
exactly, so they were like the underdogs, and you will notice that there are some clubs that thrive when they are the underdogs.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And that's where Aston Villa has thrived. Any match Aston Villa is going into, and you feel that they are the underdogs, that's when they perform. But when they go into a match, for example, now when they went to play Arsenal, nobody ever looked at them as underdog. They
Yep.
kind of just shrink against bigger teams. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the category I kind of put this match in. When Chelsea was going in, they had just told their coach to go. Enzo Maresca was, one of the
Yep.
guys that what I felt that he was now beginning to have a system that was working, even though it required a bit of patience. But I felt that there was already a system working there.
Yeah.
But from what we now saw, Man City just scored and they were unable to just put in more goals all of a sudden. Everything was tight up until the 94th minute when we're
Yeah.
almost thinking that they are going to just usher themselves into a comfortable 1-0 win. In fact, Enzo Maresca, first of all, hit the ball, he touched the keeper, but there was nobody attacking him. The ball came out and he tried the second time again. And that was when it went in. So I was so happy for them because it also shows that they can still fight even with the coach that has left.
Yeah.
Man City was dominating with 57.3% on possession, Chelsea 42.7%. So they dominated fully well. Man City had 14 attempts with 3 on target.
Yeah.
Chelsea had 8 attempts with 3 on target. So they were a bit more effective with the few attempts that they have. Now, if you look at the set pieces, City still had more corners. They had about 8 corners compared to Chelsea having 2. So
Yep.
you will see that there was a lot of pressure coming in everywhere. Tactically, City controlled the match. They created, for me, what I call overloads.
Yeah.
They made Chelsea look very, very simple. I like the defensive structure, even with the 2 injuries they are dealing with. But conceding very late also means that they lost a bit of concentration immediately after the 90 minutes. And that's why the goal came. They had some tactical failures for me because it affected their concentration that they already started with. But I like the new formation that they showed. Chelsea played more like a 4-3-3. You understand? And I saw the disciplined spacing as well. So all they just did was stay back and they rely on counter attack. And that was how those rare moments of broken plays, they take advantage of it in the middle. And Enzo Fernandez was able to, to just come in and, create some kind of momentum. And that was how they were able to, just get that draw. But what do you think? Give us your 2 cents.
I mean, that game was a game where nobody expected Chelsea to get a result in that game, right? Because
Exactly.
Enzo Maresca that just left. They had a rookie manager, a manager whose name nobody knew. There are some assistants whose names you will know, for example, because they've been there for a long time as assistants, so they can handle the game, 1 or 2 games, maybe not the full season, but they can handle 1 or 2 games, right? So it wasn't someone who people knew at all, right?
Yeah.
Everybody said it was a rookie manager. So we expected Man City to dominate that game properly, at least, and it was Man City's home, right? It was at the Etihad, so we expected Man City to have been a bit better in that game. Yeah, they got the first goal, and then they sort of, from what I saw, they didn't do anything after that goal went in.
I think, sorry for cutting you short, they also did the same against Brighton. Because on that Brighton game, they depended on only 1 penalty from Erling Haaland and they didn't score again.
In fact, the Brighton was a better team. Brighton should have had like 2 goals before.
2 goals, exactly.
There are chances where I felt like if the person shot hadn't been like the one where they passed the ball, if he hadn't been so selfish, if you had scored the ball to the other person who was there, he could have scored that goal. So before halftime, it could have been like 2-1 before halftime, right? And again, for some reason, Man City has maybe Erling Haaland has lost a bit of form scoring goals. Days, right?
That's why they are getting a lot of draws because
exactly.
Remember we talked about Rangers coming in and a couple of other guys were stepping up and it was not looking like they were depending on Erling Haaland. But right now it's going back to what it used to be.
Going back to what it used to be before.
Since when 2 of their key defenders went on injury as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And England has lost a bit of form, so he hasn't been scoring goals. At least he's not scored in the last, apart from the penalty against Fulham, against Brighton. He hasn't scored any goal against
exactly.
Sunderland. No, zero against Chelsea. He didn't score, and against Brighton, just the penalty. So,
Just the
and that,
penalty,
if
yeah.
imagine if you had scored one goal each in all those games, maybe they would have won. So it shows you the dependence on the striker, and when the striker stops firing, then that means it's a problem, right? So sometimes when people start talking about Gyökeres and that he's not scoring goals, but then we're still top of the league. So
Yeah,
it shows you that other players need to chip in with the goals when
yeah.
the striker is not scoring. That's what's happening to Man City right now. And again, losing two key defenders in that game against Chelsea also did some damage to them as well, because once they pulled up with an injury, Vardy pulled up with an injury, and then Ruben Diaz pulled up with an injury, and John Stones is still injured right now, right? So
That's
there are
true.
three centre backs are not available to play. So I wonder what they do. They're playing. Who are they playing this weekend? Next weekend. Sorry, for the next Premier League, they'll be playing. I don't know. Manchester United. Yeah, it's Manchester Derby.
Okay, they're playing Man U. Okay.
Yeah, Manchester Derby in 2 weeks, right? So
No, okay. Look, they're first going to do an FA Cup
FA Cup.
match.
Yeah,
They're going to do an FA Cup match in 2 days.
yeah.
That'll be on Saturday. Then
Yeah.
before their next match, yeah.
Correct. So,
Yeah.
and they're doing Carabao Cup, right? Next week.
Yeah,
midweek,
that's
right?
the FA Cup against a team called Exeter or something, Exeter City.
That's FA Cup. Carabao Cup. They should be playing Newcastle in the Carabao Cup. I don't know if it's next week. I don't know when that will happen. That's the League Cup.
We'll catch up on some of them,
Yeah.
but I know that their next one is the FA Cup this
FA
Saturday.
Cup, right? Yeah, that's this weekend. Yeah. So it's Man City. The players are getting injured at a very bad time for them, right?
Exactly.
So I wonder how they would cope. And against Brighton, like I said, Brighton was playing the better side. But going back to the Chelsea game, it was the Premier League. They say one goal lead is not enough, never enough in the Premier League.
No. Premier League is different.
Never enough. If
you can't just take one goal lead and just go and sit down. It doesn't work.
Except your Arsenal, right? It's never enough. Except your Arsenal, So Arsenal can hold on to a lead and then see it out.
Yeah.
Right.
It looks like everything is going on well for them. I was listening to some of the old guys, the old Premier League guys. They were just talking on their podcast and they were like, "Man, Arsenal has everything working for them. It's like a team that has no weakness anymore."
Yeah, true.
You understand? I'll be surprised, and everybody's saying it too. I'll be surprised if they let this one slip again.
Yeah, I'll be surprised too. If they do, then maybe there's a bigger problem. Let's face it, right? Let's think about it, right?
Yeah.
In every position right now in Arsenal, they have at least two players in every position.
It's true.
And not just two players, they have two good players.
It's true.
That can start for any team in the Premier League, even Man City. And it's no joke, right? So imagine having that, and then still you can't win the league, and not just say you have experience already. You've been second 3 in a row. Yeah. So now you know that's fine. It's just hanging there. You can do it, right? And again, just like last season, I think Liverpool was fortunate last season, even though they were good, but they were lucky last season because Man City. The injury they had was Rodri having an injury, and that was what spoiled Man City season last time. Arsenal had a lot of injuries last season. Saliba was injured, Gabriel went out injured, Havertz, Jesus. It was like, and that has happened this season as well to Arsenal as well, right? So last season we lost it because of the injuries, right? So this season right now, I'll say it's our turn to win it. Arsenal just has to win it. There's no excuse.
They just have to. I think everybody should give it to them. People are even saying in Champions League it looks like they are also going to have a long stretch. But if they go ahead and they transfer this energy also to Champions League and they get to the final and win it, then it will be an extraordinary season.
Yeah.
You understand? It will be an extraordinary season for them. But the Premier League is what they've not won in a long time.
Yeah. Champions League, they've not won Champions League at all. So
at all, to
me, at this point, as an Arsenal fan, if we win either of anyone, I'll be happy.
It's true.
If we win Champions League, I'll be very happy because we haven't got one name before. The Premier League, if we win it, that I'll be happy because it was 21 years that we won it last. Even if we win the Carabao Cup and we get the League Cup, let's say we win that one, it's something because we haven't won. I can't remember last time we won. I don't think we've ever won the Carabao Cup before.
You've won more FA Cups in recent times.
More FA Cups.
More FA Cups, yeah.
So I think this season it looks like Carabao Cup probably will hopefully get to the final. If we're able to beat Chelsea home and we get to the final and see if we can get that one in and then focus on the other ones. But Arsenal is in a strong position to win to win this season. Man City, that's supposed to be the competition. They've not been doing it lately. And again, part time for them to get these injuries they're getting right now to Guardiola and to Luis Diaz, and then Haaland not losing from the last 3 games. We don't know what's happening in the next games that they have. So let's just wait and see what happens.
Yeah, if you look at the table is looking quite good. With all the results that have come, even with Arsenal, Liverpool, it just keeps them in a better position to be in control with the 6-point difference. And just like the injuries we talked about for Man City and Aston Villa are sharing the same points now with 43.
Yep.
And Brentford is still 5th after those matches. You know, they're really pushing their weight. Newcastle had a very clinical win against Leeds. Apparently, one goal came in 90 minutes plus 12 to make it 4-3 against Leeds.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's the one you're talking about, the back and forth and stuff. So Harvey Barnes is really having a good time. And it was one that came in with that final goal that made it 4-3. And that has put Newcastle on 6th position comfortably, just ahead of Man U with the same number of points. And Chelsea is just behind them as well. So hopefully it's still going to be a very interesting season if with a few matches. And particularly Newcastle earlier in the week had a comfortable 2-0 win against Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
With Bruno and Malik. They scored just there was a 7 minutes burst, and they scored 2 goals at 71st minute and 78th minute. And I like the flow. Looking at the fact that Crystal Palace started as a dangerous team earlier in the season, and one way or the other they were able to just keep things going. But right now they've dropped seriously, and where are they? They are now 13th on the table, man. They're now 13th, just below Everton. Everton too started well in the season. It just tells you that even in the Premier League, you still have to keep fighting week in, week out.
Yeah, you have to
keep fighting. Crystal Palace, very decent team, is still 13th. Tottenham, that we felt that they were defending at a high level, they are still 14th. In fact, my beloved Bournemouth is 15th. So even Bournemouth is fighting for their life. Even the fact that they are playing very, very good football, they are still fighting for their life.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, really tough. Because if you look at Brentford in 50 is 33 points, Tottenham 14th is 27 points, just 6 points between 5th and 14th, 6 points. So Brentford loses 2 games, Tottenham wins 2 games, they're level on points.
Very, very interesting table, really. Very interesting table, really.
Premier League.
Yeah.
The
Premier League is a very, very tough league. Just looking at some of those numbers, you'll just be wondering what's really going to happen next,
Yeah.
So another news that I just thought that we should just talk about is one coach I really like, Nuno Espirito. I liked what he was building with Nottingham before he had a disagreement with the management team, and he now lost his job and later went back to West Ham to try and see how we can help them survive. But from what I'm seeing generally, it looks like the owners of the team have decided that they're going to keep him. They're not going to put him under any pressure with the way he's going. They're trying to see if he can just see out the season, even though they suffered a bit of losses. They had an humiliating 3-0 loss to Wolves. Imagine the same Wolves team that we are saying that they are destined to relegate. He still went to that team and lost 3-0. You understand? But the club has backed him this January, and they're saying that they are not considering letting him go. They want to stay with him, even though they believe that there are issues with the squad quality. But they still want to stay with him. They still want to, keep fighting and see, if he can help them, pull out something this season. But also from what we are hearing, except if the owners of the team change or if the members of the board change their mind, what we are hearing is even if they relegate this season, they are willing to still keep his job. Yeah, they don't mind. It's more like they have already kind of looked at the reality that, okay, let's just keep him, because which kind of coach do they really want to get out there that will really change the narratives for them right now? You understand? Well, West Ham they are really struggling.
Exactly. And they've gone from Graham Potter. They started Graham Potter before they appointed someone before Nuno, right?
That's the what was his name again? I've forgotten his name.
Graham Potter was sacked.
Was
They
it
sacked
Potter?
Graham Potter.
Okay,
Graham
okay,
Potter.
okay. Right, Potter.
Yeah,
Okay,
they
okay,
sacked him. I
okay.
don't know if they got someone before they got Nuno in, because I know Nuno came from Forest. Yeah, like you said, he lost his job at Forest,
And that
and then
Forest, he already had something good going there.
yeah, he was
He
doing
would
well
have
at Forest.
just,
Man.
he would
He
have
was
just
doing really
stayed
well.
with. I don't know
He was
why.
doing really well at Forest.
Even if they are
You know,
not buying anybody, why not manage the people you had with you?
no. So I think the issue from what I had, you know this thing. Like I said, you
Mm,
never heard the full story of this thing, right? You only heard bits and pieces here and there. So what I heard was, in Forest was playing like a defensive type of game where counter-attacking football. When he plays against the big teams, he'll just sit tight, defend, and hit them on the break, and he was doing well. Achieving success with that. So when
okay.
Edu Gaspar from Arsenal went to Forest, I think they wanted a different brand of football. They wanted him to be more attacking, more expressive. So,
Okay.
but Nuno was like, I don't have the players to do that. So if you need me to play that kind of football, we need to change a few things here and there, buy some players in, and then that was what caused the argument, the disagreement that they had. That was what made him leave. That's what,
Okay.
again, there are things that are out there. I don't. We never know the full story, right? So it's just saying what I heard from some pundits and what he can, make from what you read sometimes from the internet. So it's just that's
Okay.
what happened. But it was sad because I mean he was doing very well at Forest, very very well at Forest.
Yeah. Even from where he finished with Forest was overachievement for me because nobody
Yeah,
expected he would finish at that first half of the table
yeah,
when he had a good run with the Forest team.
yeah.
But he's still a good coach. He probably just needs time. And once he's able to get one more season to bring in the kind of personnel he agrees with, then maybe he can put the team in a better position to succeed.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel, for staying with us to the end. I think we did well with time. Thank you very much, everyone, for sticking with us, making it count. This is Lanonasis Maple Sports once again, where we run unfiltered opinion, sharp analysis, and big love for Canadian hopes and eyes every time. We break down the NBA, spotlighting the CBL, and we try to also carve out some space for smart hockey talk. Today, I'm Taiwo, your commentator, and Emmanuel, my partner, not in crime, but my partner today, an analyst and unapologetic fan of the game. We like to say this is 9:41 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Thank you very much and have a wonderful weekend ahead. Thank you.
Peace. Thank you, man.
Yeah, peace, man. Cheers, man. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.